amen, that were, they had listened to their parents for years. Amen, they had listened to the things, and a good parent would have said, now listen, when Moses went up on the mountain, we got worried and we got afraid of what was going on, and we had Aaron built us a golden calf that we could worship.
Yes.
Don't do that, children.
Come on.
Amen. Listen, they got some instructions of what. Listen, even though we may mess up, amen. Even though we may get in trouble. Listen, church. Even though we may not do the right thing every time, but we need to make that a lesson unto everybody else. Amen.
Amen.
Don't listen like Sister G said today. Amen. Don't take our messes, amen, and waller in them. Allow the Lord to make a message out of it. Amen. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
We need to bring up our children. We need to bring up, amen, the ones below us. Amen. To bring them up in the admonition. Listen, don't let your mistake, amen, just write itself out. Amen. You need to use it as a learning opportunity, not only to yourself, amen, but for everybody around you. Praise the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
And this wasn't even what I had expected this morning. Amen. But because I never really even thought upon that. But why the Lord told them not to speak. You're talking about over millions of people that were walking around this place. Told them not to make a noise. Not to say a word. Not to hinder your brother. Not to hinder your sister. Huh? Listen, it might be easy. I don't know. Do you think maybe that the people of Jericho may have looked down upon those people walking around their city? Amen. And maybe taunted them a little bit. I don't know. I'm not saying, the Bible don't say that it did, but, you know, it'd be kind of hard to imagine that they did. Oh, you think you're going to march around this city and what good you think that's going to do? Oh, your God may have brought you across the Jordan River, but how are you going to conquer my city? Amen?
Amen.
Come on, taunting them. Amen? And what's your first inkling when somebody taunts you or when somebody says something to you? Amen? Your first inkling, your first notion is to lash back at them. Isn't it? Come on. Amen? You always want to get the last word in.
Yes.
Amen? So, let's take that as a lesson. Lord told them to be quiet. Be quiet. And do what I say.
Amen.
Well, that's a hard one to do. Amen.
It is.
Can you imagine the first time they went around, maybe it wasn't so bad. They looked up at that giant wall that they were walking around. I don't know if they're going counterclockwise or clockwise. We'll do like NASCAR. We'll take right turns. Man, just looking up at the big wall. In their hearts, maybe they were saying, how are we going to ever be able to conquer Jericho? We know out inside of these walls that the enemy has built up. But I'm speaking right now to somebody. The enemy, or the walls that are built up right now around, the walls that are built up around what God said I need to take.
Come on.
Seems so insurmountable. Seems so tall. Seems impenetrable. One time walking around, couldn't you imagine? Second day, looking up. You know what? Every day seemed like those walls got taller. And they got smaller.
Yes.
Seemed like every day that they walked around, day number 2, doubt starts to come into your mind.
Have your way, Lord.
Looking at that wall. How are we ever? What good is this doing? Day number 3. I can't stand the silence. Why does God not want us to speak? Why isn't God speaking to me right now? I can't stand. I can't stand the anticipation. This is getting to be ridiculous. Why are we circling this city? The third day, fourth day. There's no cracks in the wall. Get dizzy. There's no cracks in the wall. Nothing has changed except we walked around this place 4 times. The wall's still as tall as it's ever been. It's still as thick as it's ever been. The people inside the city have said that they would not come out or anybody come in. Amen? Because they had a fear. They had a fear of God's people because they had heard of what happened at the Red Sea. They had heard that Pharaoh's people, his army, had been drowned at the sea. Amen. They had heard of these people walking in the wilderness for 40 years. What kind of crazy people are these? Maybe even somebody witnessed out of Jericho that day when the wall of water stood up in the Jordan River, and here come God's people.
Come on now.
Amen.
Amen.
Here comes God's people walking over.
Amen.
Didn't even get their shoes muddy.
Come on.
Come on, church. Amen. Didn't even have to swim. Didn't have to get a boat.
Amen.
And here they are walking around it. What do they think they're doing? Walking around our city like this. People walking around the city, probably the same thing. What are we doing walking around this city? Why are we walking around the walls when what we really need is inside?
Come on.
Huh? Listen, the things, come on church, the things worth obtaining
Come on.
sometimes can be the hardest to get.
Yes.
Amen? But if, listen, God's got a plan. 5th day. Can you imagine Joshua having to say, come on, before they go out, come on guys,
Yeah.
only 2 more days. Amen? We've done, I know your feet may be a little tired today, but come on, he's got to be that coach. Amen? Get them up, get them geared up. Come on, we only got 2 more days and God's going to do something for us. And those people are like, you're ignorant. We done walked around this thing 4 times. This is our 5th time. What are you talking about? Who's uplifting Joseph? He's trying to get the masses to go. 5th day they walk around. Ain't nothing happened but a rut where they've been walking. Amen? Ain't nothing happened but maybe sores on their feet. Ain't nothing happening but sweat from their brows. But they still ain't talking.
Amen.
5th day goes around, Bobby, nothing's changed. They go lay down in their tents the next day, rises up, maybe the day is the day. Just, come on everybody, let's go. Come on, the army, come on army, you go. You know how to do it. Day number 6. Come on army, you've got to do it. Oh, here comes the priest with the horns. You've got to go behind the army. Oh, here comes the Ark of the Covenant. This is the one of the procession that God told him to do. The Ark of the Covenant, amen, is flanked by the army and it's flanked by the rearward. You know what the rearward means? It means that it's an army that protects from the rear, but also it means something else. It means to be gathered. Amen. It means to be stored together, a harvest. Amen. Or even means to be a victim. Or to be gathered, assembled, or to be a rear guard. Listen, where was the Ark of the Covenant? It was guarded.
Yes.
Church, your greatest possession in your life is God in you.
Amen.
You need to guard it with every might that you have.
Amen.
You need to guard it, amen, with every time you get a chance to pray. Amen. If you got to walk around, amen, something 7 times or 70 times, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's got to be guarded.
Yes.
The Ark of the Covenant was here. Amen. The army was here. The priest blowing the trumpets was here. Listen, it was 7 priests blowing the trumpets, 7 priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant, then everybody else came behind them. Amen. The guard, the masses, the gathered. Amen. God's gathered people. What were they doing? They were following the ark. They were following
Yes.
God, a representation. Church, what we've got to do today, no